NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte is at the center of a political storm in Italy. And this after suggesting that hundreds of US aircraft operated from American bases in the country during the war with Iran. Well, Rome insists that it authorized only logistical support flights and not direct military action. Earlier speaking to Fox News ahead of a White House meeting with President Trump, Rutte cited Italy as an example of European support for the US during the conflict. He said around 500 US aircraft had taken off from American bases in Italy in support of Operation Epic Fury, Washington's name for the military operation conducted alongside Israel. Now, Italy hosts about 120 US military facilities, including the Sigonella Naval Air Station in Sicily and the Aviano Air Base in northern Italy. Rutte's remarks trigger a political storm in Italy. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government has repeatedly stated that it did not authorize the use of Italian territory for direct military action against Iran. The defense minister said that Italy acted in full compliance with its constitution, international treaties, and agreements governing allied military bases on Italian soil. Now, Crosetto said that Italy rejected requests that fell outside those limits and authorized only technical and logistical non-kinetic activities. A NATO official defended Rutte, saying that he had merely highlighted how allies, including Italy, implemented existing bilateral agreements concerning basing rights and overflight permissions. Later, during his meeting with President Trump, Rutte noted that between 4,000 and 5,000 US aircraft, they operated from bases across Europe during the conflict.
This is not, strictly speaking, NATO. Bilateral commitments, they all did what they promised to do. And this led to between 4,000 and 5,000 US planes taking off from Europe. I would argue it would have been very difficult to do Iran without having Europe as a power projection platform for the United States. Delivered again, he's right. There is also reason for disappointment. It is a mixed bag.
However, Crosetto expressed surprise that Rutte, who had no direct role in Operation Epic Fury, had given an account that conveyed a misleading impression by conflating authorized support flights with combat-related operations. Now, relations between Meloni and Trump were already under strain following a public disagreement over Italy's refusal to back the US military campaign against Iran. The dispute has intensified after Trump publicly criticized the Italian Prime Minister. Meanwhile, opposition leaders seized on Rutte's comments and demanded fresh explanations from the government. Five-Star Movement leader and former Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte called on Meloni to clarify the matter before the parliament. Now, Nicola Fratiolini and the Green and Left Alliance said that either the government had misled lawmakers or Rutte had suffered a heat stroke. All right, and moving on, Iran has accused NATO of being complicit in the US-Israeli war against Iran. And this after NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte highlighted allied support for the US military operation. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghei said that Rutte's comments amounted to an admission of NATO's involvement in what Tehran describes as an unlawful war of aggression. In a post on X, Baghei accused the alliance of active complicity in the conflict and alleged that NATO had violated fundamental principles of international law and the UN Charter. Tehran's criticism came after Rutte told Fox News that several NATO allies had made their military bases available to support the US Operation Epic Fury. Rutte's comments followed criticism from President Donald Trump, who expressed disappointment with allies that had not publicly backed Washington's military campaign against Iran. Meanwhile, the IRGC Navy has issued a fresh warning over shipping movements in the Strait of Hormuz, saying safe passage is only possible through routes approved by the Islamic Republic of Iran. And describing the move as extremely dangerous, IRGC said that some authorities had announced a new shipping route through the strait without coordinating with Tehran. The IRGC Navy stressed that the only permitted transit routes are those which are designated by Iran and warned that any vessel operating outside those corridors would be considered in violation. It said that all ships must coordinate with the IRGC Navy through Maritime Channel 16 before transiting the strait, adding that vessels failing to comply would face action. U.S. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, in a statement on X, said that in the last 24 hours, 72 ships and 20 million barrels of oil have transited through the Strait of Hormuz. Well, earlier, marine traffic reported 31 verified transits through the Strait of Hormuz on Tuesday, including commercial ships and energy carriers. It said that ship owners continue to navigate the choke point using a combination of Iranian, Omani and international shipping routes.